We move around the wheel to the south, and the element of south is fire. And fire is a transformative force as it heats and lights and is a powerful change. And in the northern hemisphere, it makes sense that we associate the south towards the equator with the warmth of the sun and the heat of the flame. And we see birds move south, butterflies move south, whales move south, seeking warmer places when the weather gets cold. And when our internal weather gets cold, turning south is a metaphor for turning towards warmth and daylight, seeking out the changes that will warm us up, get our blood moving, and call us out of our winters, our hibernation, and into action. Summer brings a heightened intensity and energy to the element of fire. Summer's abundance of sunlight and warmth fuels the vitality and energy of fire. And of course, this can be seen in the increased growth of plants, the activity of animals, and the heightened energy of human beings. In many cultures, fire is associated with spiritual transformation and enlightenment. The increased energy and vitality of summer can enhance one's connection to the spiritual realm. The themes are pleasure, fertility, expansion, growth, sensuality, action, magic, creativity, and the colors are reds and oranges and yellows and greens. And the moon phase is the waxing gibbons. Okay, and some herbs and plants would be hawthorn, rose, honeysuckle, lilac, angelica, and any local flowers blooming in your area. And some crystals you can use would be carnelian, garnet, ruby, orange, calcite, protective crystals like black tourmaline, and some fresh herbs, some edible flowers. Those are all amazing, and especially as fairy offerings of the cakes and dairy products. I love all this. And the tools you can use would be candles, bonfires, statues or symbols of the gods and goddesses, and symbols of fertility, the maypole, protecting tools and symbols, fairy offerings. Isn't that lovely? So the elements of fire and earth, and we've got the cardinal direction of the south, and this is awesome, and the zodiac sign would be Taurus. We're going to take a look at the salamander, and it's associated with fire, and it's a small amphibian creature, and it's rooted in a combination of historical beliefs and folklore. When thinking of fire, one usually doesn't imagine a cold-blooded lizard to be the face of the fire element. Then one imagines a giant lizard blowing fire from a long, scaly throat, and one can easily see why. And the salamander is the designated creature for the spirits of fire and the fae folk, of heat and energy, of anger and passion, of courage and boldness. In alchemy, the red salamander is quite distinct from the usual salamander creature, which is of course actually an amphibian. For one, it takes the shape of a lizard. For another, the red salamander, like fire, it is technically a mythical fiery creature, and it has since been a symbol of alchemical ingredients and a major classifier for the fae folk. Today we're going to work with the power animal, the lion. And if you're more drawn to the lioness, so that is absolutely fine. It's about self-sovereignty, and lion appears in our lives in those darkest moments when we face the demons, monsters, and shadows in the depths of our being. And these shadow natures often arise at the most inopportune situations, usually in a crisis or time where we struggle. And they appear after a long period of their denial, and as we know, can control us through our fear and insecurities. They are the flip side of our destructive self, which when acknowledged, cause mayhem in the significant areas of our life. These powers are formed from the fires of resentment and hate the energies of spiritual suppression. Embracing Lion helps us to face these energies with strength and courage, to claim our self-esteem back and see the courage in our hearts. It is the power of doing, acting and challenging the inner shadow and believing in our spiritual talents and purpose in life. Doing so banishes the doubts and the poor me shadow from the kingdom of our mind. And equally, Lioness connects to the heart. She believes self-love and gentleness when our emotions become calloused, helping to nurture our spirit of self-acceptance and surrender to the river of forces at work in our daily lives, to sit and allow things to unfold. Both Lion and Lioness are stewards for the universal energies of active and passive power. They hold the balance of action and stillness, claiming and releasing and knowing when to work, when to play. So I think we should work with both of them, don't you? Having the masculine and the feminine, just to give us that balance.